So since a small group, let's, I think what we might do is instead of sitting, although we might sit, is to try this. This is often given in formal meditation. There's a time when it's probably inappropriate for many reasons not to sit. So I'm actually just going to have you lie down on the floor. This will feel good. Have the arms decentralized. And if you want, we'll spend a little bit of time here. Take your blanket in this manner. And I've shown this before, so that you can get the spreading of the forehead and the eyes and eyelids moving to the cheekbones. It's very, very calming, especially if you're experiencing any kind of anxiety. So if you take the blanket, which is kind of right now, it's at the forehead and the scalp, and I use my fingertips and I pull it down. So the skin is moving down to my cheekbones, and then I can just spread it and then take the arms out. So let's lie down in that manner, because many times if you go to a formal meditation retreat, they will tell you to, it's perfectly okay to lie down. So just for a change, since we rarely do this. And then again, use the blanket in that manner for the eyes, for the forehead. And you can actually, if your back bothers you, I would keep the legs bent with the feet flat on the floor, which is always advisable for back issues. And then I just want to say this, as you know, I kind of write these little pithy, terse statements before we come to the class to sit. So in the midst of all the rattling and the shaking going on, can you invite in unshakability, knowing that it is there for the taking? See if you can orient and incline your body and your mind toward this quality of unshakability. And I think feeling the earth as you're lying down bent allows you to experience perhaps a little bit more of that unshakability. So let your feet, let the back of the head, let the shoulder blades absorb the earth. Feel the groundedness that the earth tends to provide for us in this posture of lying down as we sit. So those of you, Lon and Peggy, that have come in, I'm asking that you lie down with legs bent. And I'll repeat because it's worth repeating. So in the midst of all the rattling and the shaking, can you invite in unshakability, knowing that it is there for the taking? Can you orient and incline yourself toward this quality of unshakability? What would that feel like to you? Maybe you already right now can inhabit that as you're in this posture. Spacious versus spacey. Collected and whole versus fragmented. And may you all have the fortune of accessing this place of peace in the here, in the here, in the now, in the now. Know that it is always accessible. It's always there for the taking. And then if you want to come up to a seated posture, fine. Otherwise, you can stay there. Not a problem. May I be a boat, a raft, a bridge for all beings to cross the flood. May I be a resting place for the weary. May I be medicine for all who are sick. May I be a lamp in the darkness for those who are lost. May I do so as long as earth and sky and galaxies exist, until all beings are enlightened. I vow to be here to serve them all. Okay, then when you're ready, you can draw the knees into the chest in Dvipada. Just hug the shins if you can, flex through the feet. Draw the thighs closer to the chest. Good. Okay, and then roll to one side. Okay, so we're going to start. So I had said before, Peggy and Lana, that we were going to repeat much of what I taught on Friday because it was a small class as it is today. But I wanted people to have the, I was sharing with people that sometimes I feel, although we typically have a sequence designed to go to talking about, like, you know, a certain category of poses like arm balance or side laterals. But I think on some level, these potpourri of poses in any given class where we're doing arm work, abdominal work, hamstring stretches, hip openers, all in one class is very helpful for people, especially if you do one class a week. That's particularly helpful if you do one class a week. If you're taking more than one class a week and you're, you know, like some people take classes every day, then, you know, it may not be as effective, but just as an aside. So let's start with Viparita Karani, legs elevated at the wall. Because the leg positions will give us some of the hip opening that we'll need when we're going to repeat those arm balances. I think people had emailed me that they really enjoyed the arm balances of Tolasana and Lolasana. So we'll start with Viparita Karani with the feet apart, and then we'll go. So just so that you know the sequence, and we say about a minute or 2 minutes in each leg position, starts with the legs hip width apart, then wider apart, then bound ankle, Baddha Konasana, then cross-legged, then we'll do Ardha Padmasana, and then we'll come out. We might do Padmasana. We didn't do it on Friday, but I think we might, because we're going to use the legs in Padmasana in an arm balance called Tolasana. So start with just the feet hip width apart, and use the feet hip width apart. Put your hand on your diaphragm and allow the diaphragm to spread, just like as a reminder. Spread the diaphragm. There, that's good because the pelvis is dropping into that well, so that you're getting the forward bend of the legs. Yeah. So if I see in profile as you have it, Mary Beth and Peggy, I can really see if you're getting enough height. I would say, as I look around, you know, and I've seen many people in Viparita Karani, usually a bolster and a blanket works well. Some people might need another blanket, but not in the same height, but not as much as adding another bolster. I'd say 2 bolsters are for people maybe 5, 6 and above, something like that. That's good, Lana. Yeah. So drop, yeah, have a, you know, a fist-like distance from the wall, drop the pubic bone, good, into the well. That's it. And the legs are glued to the wall, good. And, you know, if you were practicing, just say this at home and you wanted to do this, you know, as your only pose, then, you know, I would spend about, you know, 2 or 3 minutes in each leg position. We won't spend that much, but it has a lot to offer. Observe how the chest is lifted. The chin might be moving toward the hollow of the throat. And if it is in that chin lock position, that's fine. But the head and the shoulders are down. If they're not down yet, you'll find that as you stay in the pose, they will come down. Good. Now, keeping the width, just assess your diaphragm, the width across it. Now, see if taking the feet wider apart helps you get more spread. For some, yes. For others, no. Likely that it will. It'll feel like that diaphragm is more rectangular in nature in terms of the length. Good. Adjust the feet well, so you're really on the back crown of the heel. Activate the arches, so that spread the toes, so the feet are active, even in this restorative pose. Observe the out breath. It might be a little bit longer now. Stay here with the arms decentralized. Make sure the chin is not too high lifting. Nance, to me, it looks like it's hard for the angle on the camera, but just make sure the back of your neck is spreading. The back of the neck. Yeah, I would add that little roll, just so that the cervical spine on the side should be even. There should be an evenness in the sides. Observe the diaphragm as you change the leg position. Excuse me. So now, soles of the feet together, Baddha Konasana. If you want to, you can put your hand on your inner upper thighs to send the knees back to the wall. You'll need that today in Padmasana. Yes, increase the distance, as I love to say, between the inner sides of the pubic bone and the inner groin. So really feel a reaching out of right knee, moving more to the right, left knee moving more to the left. And that way you'll get that spread across the pubic plate. Now observe the diaphragm in this particular leg position. Observe the breath. I suspect, especially as we arrive to this third Baddha Konasana, that the exhalation is quite long and quite smooth. I suspect that the diaphragm, like the pubic plate, feels very broad. And then take the legs back up to the wall, feet apart. That's for the knees after Baddha Konasana. Again, activate the feet, the arches, spread the toes. Extend through the core of the heel. And then manually, you're going to come in and out of Ardha Padmasana. Okay? See if we'll go, yes. So now remember what I said about Baddha Konasana. So the knee should be touching the wall ideally. As the foot comes up, the knee moves back, Lana, and go in and out, in and out, in and out. Right leg, left leg. See if I'm going to do a sequence on the ankles soon. See if you can not torque the ankles. I know it's tricky, but see if you can create an evenness on the outer edge of the foot and the inner edge of the foot. The outer bank of the heel and the inner bank of the heel, so that the foot doesn't torque. Okay, go in and out. Now, those of you who can do Padmasana, so dropping the right heel into the left groin, and then the left into the right, and then stretching the legs back up, and then swapping. So if that's not possible, then you just come back to either Ardha Padmasana with movement, or Ardha Padmasana, where, let's just say, the heel of the right foot is in the left groin, but the left foot is behind the right knee. Ardha Padmasana, good. So many of you are doing Padmasana, Peggy, good. Beth, going in and out is fine. Ardha Padmasana is fine. Okay, now give a good stretch to the legs, up against the wall, good, Nancy, having the feet hip width apart. Okay, now this should be very easy because you've done Padmasana. Cross your shins, Swastikasana with the knees at the wall. They may not touch the wall because of the feet. Depends. If you have more of your ankles, more of your ankles crossed, it's less likely for the knees to be on the wall. That's it, Mary Beth. So if you cross at the shin, then the knees actually can come to the wall. Might be able to. It's a function really of the outer hips. Okay, stretch the legs up. So note how we're doing after knee flexion, extension, change. That's it. Good. Okay. Now to come out, you can, so this is challenging because we're just going to pick one side. We're coming out only one time. So scoot toward your head side to bring the outer thighs up against the bolster. You can decide which cross you want to do it in. And then just rest your outer upper thighs against the bolster. Good. So now you're fully out, supporting the thighs. And then just imagine at some point the legs would be in Padmasana, instead of Sukhasana or Swastikasana and the knees down. Now, if some of you are able to do that, you can stretch your legs up and then from UPP or Viprasarana come into Padmasana, otherwise just stay there and then hold the feet or the sides of the mat and see if you can draw the backs of the thighs to the floor. So that's Matsyasana, which is a challenging pose if you obviously can't do Padmasana. So Mary Beth, if the knees aren't down, you could support the chest, which would mean coming up, but don't worry about it if that's not possible. Okay, because there are different ways to come into this. All right, now untwine the legs, place the feet flat on the floor, draw the knees into the chest. Okay, so everyone have a belt. So we're going to start with the Supta cycle. 1, 2, as I've been doing 1, 2, 4, back to 2. We'll add 3 today and play with that, and then use 3 as a platform to do some things that we didn't do on Friday. Okay, so let's all get in a habit of starting the Supta cycle with bent legs. You don't have to be at the wall. That's a really good habit too. But get in the habit of starting with feet flat on the floor to relax the back. Then you'll draw the right knee into the chest, extend through the core of the heel. And then for the sake of the hips, because we are doing Padmasana, put the belt, get the clarity of the hips so that the belt is further back toward the heel versus the arch. So the placement of the belt at the heel can be helpful to provide clarity in the hips, which is important for Padmasana. Okay, so you're just getting the belt on, the belt is placed well. Okay, and then of course you're going to move the leg toward your head side. Keep the leg straight, unfold the legs, side ribs even. Good. That's it. Open the back of the knee. Flex through the heel, so the toes draw back toward your chest and the heel lifts up. Don't let the knee bend. Oh, good. Press the top of the knee back, clamp the left thigh down. Okay. Just unfold your legs. Unfold your right leg, unfold your left leg. Okay, now extend through the left arm. Hold the belt with the right hand. Okay, and now take the right leg out to the side. So usually I come back to 90, but let's just see, starting from beyond 90, you'll see how the foot is closer to the shoulder. So there's different ways to do it. Decentralize the left leg, I should have told you earlier, because that will help you not go with that right leg. Okay, wait there. Supta Pangushtasana 2. Again, remember what I said in Baddha Konasana, keep the groins on their respective planes. Right groin belongs to the right, left to the left, and they don't commingle. All right, now take the leg up. Just do figure 4, because we'll need this when we come to do Ardha pose later. Do figure 4 and adjust your shin so it's parallel to your collarbones, and then you can draw the shin in. So don't let the right foot cross too much over the left thigh. That's it. Good. Use your right hand to press the thigh back. Draw the shin toward you. Figure 4. Remember, that's good, Nancy. The inner knee, the inner, if you're getting any pain in your inner upper knee, turn it with your right hand. Or you can put the strap, as you're doing, Nancy, in the inner thigh and turn from the inside out. It's external rotation of the hip. And this is the posture, that's the path to Padmasana. I mean, figure 4 is much more the path to Padmasana than the full pose. That's why we're just doing it. I know we did the full pose on Friday, but not today. Okay, Now go to 2, decentralize left leg, extend the left leg, take the leg back to 90, then go out to the side, turn the belly from the right to the left. Good. Keep that right arm straight. Well done. So 1, 2, 4, back to 2, and then we'll take 3 with a slight nuance. All right, so now you can look at, well, some of you won't be able to look at the screen. So you'll just listen to the words. You're crossing the right leg over the left, and then you're going to bend the leg and extend. Bend, extend, getting more into that outer right hip. Yes, good, Beth. Notice, as I said, I believe on Friday, when you bend the leg, how the upper leg moves closer to the chest. The abdomen is turning strongly from the left to the right. Good. That's it, Nancy. A few times in that manner. Okay, now we didn't do this on Friday, it's a little bit different sequence, similar but not the same. You'll take that right leg, stretch it to 90, then without belt, you're going into a supine Ardha Padmasana. You see, because when at some point today, hopefully, we're going to be standing in this pose. So did you all see? I'll show from this view if you want to turn your bodies around. So I took the leg, you don't need the strap. I have one leg up, it's the same right leg. And then I'm aiming like you did when the legs were at the wall in Ardha Padmasana, okay? So it's a good gal. So as the foot comes up, the knee is moving toward the floor. Good. All right, now let's see if we can remember this whole thing. Okay, bring both feet flat on the floor. Wait there. So this is something I know a lot of you have told me that you like supine work, and I do too. So, you know, in a given practice, if you don't feel like you have the energy, which many people don't have the energy to practice standing poses ad nauseum, you could do a gazillion supine poses like we did last Friday. We're not doing that today, but you know what I mean. Okay, so feet flat on the floor, draw the left knee in, draw the right leg out. Have the belt nearby and belt at the back heel. And we're putting the belt in that specific place for the hips. Good. And then again, make it a process and go. There's a lot, the other day when I was taking a class, the teacher said that the Supta Padangusthasana cycle is like a Swiss Army knife, right? It's very full of utility. Which it is. I mean, you can get so much out of doing this sequence like we're doing it today and adding some, you know, creative moves with it. Move the leg, observe the difference in the two sides, unfold the back of the left knee. Keep the leg straight, leg straight. That takes precedent over everything else. Leg straight. Pulling down the toes, dorsiflexing your foot will help you keep the leg straight. It'll feel different on the quad. What happens when the foot's in dorsiflexion versus plantarflexion, it feels in dorsiflexion, the quads get very bulky. Plantarflexion, where you're pushing through the ball of the foot, it feels like the quadricep is sleeker, but there's a reason to do both. Okay. Now, in the same manner, once you've gone to your maximum, moving the leg toward you, extend the right leg out, decentralize, right arm out, turn belly left to right as you take the left leg out. Again, increase the distance between the sides of the pubic bone. Good. Nancy, that's good. You're really even in the pelvis. Good, good, good. Sense that left foot is moving further from your outer right hip. Now come into figure 4, and you'll, you know, the two sides will indeed be different. So again, as you did, Nancy, it depends. If you need the strap, take it at the crook of that hip or in the pit of the knee. If there's more of a knee issue, then put the belt in the pit of the knee, which which often helps. And then draw the shin toward you. Good, Lana, so that the shin is parallel to the collarbones. Parallel. So you can see that action, that circular action of that foot up as the knee moves away is what that you did in the Viparita Karani has really helped figure 4. Now touch 2 again. See how 4 affects 2, and then decentralize right leg, remember? And then we'll go to that supine Ardha Padmasana. Good. So you can really feel, I mean, this is for the hips. This is all the Supta cycle, and this additional work is all for the hips. Okay, now take that leg up, and then without strap, that's right, we have to do Jetra. So we did 2, right? We did 2, we're going to 3, right? Cross the leg over, and then bend it. When you bend it, the thigh comes closer to the chest, and then reach through the heel. Do that a few times with movement. Getting into that hip for the final one. Get into that hip. You could use a strap, but you don't have to. I'm doing it right now without the strap. And then you'll take the leg up and aim the left foot to the right bone. Ardha Padmasana supine. Yes, see if you can untorque the foot. So sense that the skin on the sides of the ankle is even. A lot of times we will torque in Ardha Padmasana the outer edge of the foot. Okay, now place both feet flat on the floor, roll to your side. And again, for the knees, let's take Baddha Konasana. We did this little piece on Friday. Adjust the feet well. You can go wide now, having been in poses that broaden across the pubic plate. Your bulky calves, you can do something like this, which often helps take the legs further out, and then be upright. And raise the arms. We haven't done much arm work. Reach up through the fingertips. Keep the legs pressing down. Take the arms down, take the legs back to Dandasana, and come into Baddha Konasana in the same way, right? So put your hand in the pit of the knee as you did in Viparita Karani, soles of the feet together. If you need a blanket, take it. If you need to be at a wall, take it. Yeah. And again, place the hands beside the feet, beside the hips, sorry, so that your trunk is not coming forward. If you hold the feet, it's more likely of the trunk coming forward. Okay, so you're here. The trunk is absolutely upright as you press the soles of the feet together. Okay, now extend the legs out. Take the other leg in. Other leg, Baddha Konasana. And then we'll go back to Upavishta Konasana. Just want to get the other side of Baddha Konasana because it's a two-sided pose. Okay. Press the feet strongly, widen the thighs away, lift the trunk away from the floor. All right, now in Baddha Konasana, which is tricky, take your arms overhead. Yeah, the knees might come up a little bit. The trunk will want to come forward. Just imagine you're at the wall. Now take the arms down, take the legs out, and then final Upavishta Konasana for the knees. Go wide. So even though we didn't start with Upavishta Konasana, which is often a pose we start with, having done what we've done allows you to do a fairly wide Upavishta Konasana. And then extend through the arms. Keep the legs down, arms up, legs down. And then take the arms down and come back to Dandasana. All right, so we'll work with this one. So you could use, if you still have your Viparita Karani setup, which I do at the wall here, then you can come into a quick Ekapada Mula Bandhasana. So this foot, and I've said this before, Nancy, you had your sneakers on Friday. If you have a sneaker, it's good to wear it because you can adjust. If you have arthritis in the toes or metatarsals, this is a challenging pose. So the heel is up, foot perpendicular, knee is down. Those are the metrics of the pose. And then, of course, change sides. One leg will be easier than the other. Lubna demonstrated this on Friday, and she was able to bring both feet, Beth, as you are. If you can bring both feet together, but don't bypass the first stage, go in and out. Nancy, take your time. I mean, honestly, if you have any issues with your feet, this is a very difficult pose to do. That's it. And then move the heels toward the screen, because you can see how the heels want to move back to the pubic plate. Move the heels forward. Heels forward. Especially those of you who are doing the double leg. And then Nancy, just change up the sides. That's it. Good, good, good. These look good. All right, now, when you're ready, stretch out the legs. Go back to a quick Upavishta Konasana. Do you remember which leg you took out, right? Well, we did it twice. So take out your non-habitual, your non-dominant leg. All right, glue the legs to the floor. All right, now decentral, come in a little bit closer so it's wider than hip width apart. We didn't do it this way on Friday. So not Dandasana where the feet are hip width apart, a little bit wider because we're coming into Padmasana. So with the legs wider, it helps. Then the knee can stay down on the floor. You can hold the foot from underneath and go in and out like you did at the wall, like you did supine. That's it. Heel, that's it. Go in and out. And then again, for those who feel like the knee will tolerate the Padmasana position, can go to Padmasana, or you can do Ardha Padmasana, you see, where the right foot is in the left groin and the left foot is under the right knee. So that's a good, Nancy. So you're leaning in and then compact the ups. That's good, Mary Beth. And then change sides. Okay, there we go. So lean in, aim the foot well, keep the knee on the floor. This, you can really feel how, you can feel that lubrication of the hips comes really nicely. Remember, there should be an evenness. I didn't discuss this on Friday, an evenness in the inner ankle skin. You can feel how the outer ankle tends to torque. So the way, if you feel like you're overstretching your outer or left ankle at this point, push through the big toe side of the left foot. That will help a lot. And then either here, Padmasana, or here. So I'll show you from this angle. This is Ardha Padmasana. This is Padmasana. This is Ardha Padmasana. Just show you it's a better angle of the camera. Okay. All right. Now, before we come back to this, we'll get a sit. Yeah, but keep the knee low, Mary Beth. Yeah, we'll get a sit. Okay, you're doing Siddhasana now. All right. So now what I want everyone to do is stretch out the legs in dog pose. And we're going to do dog to plank, and then we'll add Urdhva Mukha. So I want you to focus on, because we're getting ready to do 2, maybe 3 arm balances. Maybe I'll add, Mary Beth, you're here, Lana, do full arm balance today. So I want you to do this. We're doing these next 3 poses for one main thing. Well, actually 2. First and foremost, the inner upper arms, and then secondly, the knees, because they've been in Padmasana a lot. So I want you to do this. I want you to come into a dog pose. Sorry, let me just get this out of my way. Dog pose, and focus on the energetic lift of the hands pressing and drawing up through the inner arms. So the elbows obviously are not bent. Then with the elbows obviously not bent, plank, we'll hold it, and then back to dog. We're gonna do a few of those, and then we'll add Urdhva Mukha, and today we'll even add full arm balance and throw it in, okay? All right, so know why you're doing what you're doing now. We're getting ready to do 2 arm balances, Tolasana, Lolasana, full arm balance, which are very different in terms of leg shape. One requires much more abdominal strength, where the back is more rounded than full arm balance. That's less abdominal strength. Okay, now come forward into plank, hold it. Keep drawing up. Those of you, if the shoulders are tight, use the hands on the blocks. Hold it. Abdomen ascending. Keep the neck long. Very good. Neck long. Don't look from the chin. Good, good, good. Go back to dog. This is how you can build up your upper body strength, by doing dog pose and then coming into plank. And again, plank, hold it. Pull up through the inner arms. That's it. These look good. You're in plank. Tailbone is descending. Abdomen is ascending. Look at the screen if it doesn't bother your neck, and you should be like your body is like a plank, your trunk, your torso. Neck long, good Peggy, neck long, neck long. So event, Nancy, that's excellent. Where you want to work into holding plank for a minute. Okay, go back to dog. You want to work to getting timing for dog pose into 3 to 4 minutes. Okay, one more, forward into plank and hold. Abdomen up, tailbone in, neck long, feel the energetic pull through the inner arms. You're going to need that in the 2 arm balances that we did and will repeat today. Okay, well done. Now take a well-deserved rest, child's pose. You want to put a blanket in your torso to relax your lower spine. That's in your toolbox. So you know your body, what you need in this manner. Okay. And then we're going to repeat adding Urdhva Mukha. We didn't do this on Friday, but because I really like the sequence as a potpourri, I just want to spice it up a little bit, change it around. All right, so just rest. Arms extending forward, arms straight, because you're still preparing those arms. Okay, now this time, and it's much more appropriate for, the first time you could have used blocks too, but knowing that we're going to go to Urdhva Mukha, I'm going to employ my blocks and watch. I'm going to come into Adho Mukha Svanasana again, and then I'm going to come into my plank pose, and then I'm going to drop onto the tops of my feet for up dog, and then I'm going to pull up to plank, and then dog pose. Okay, so I'm going to go dog, plank, drop onto the feet, Urdhva Mukha, plank, and dog. Okay, see if you can separate it out into those respective asanas. If it's not possible, just do dog pose, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Okay, all right. Yeah. All right, so you're in dog, come forward into plank, wait there. Some of you might have to step in a smidge. Okay, now come onto the tops of the feet, drag the pelvis toward the bricks, good, up dog. Now push up to plank and back to dog. Okay, now let's do this. Go from dog pose to up dog, back and forth. It will be easier. Dog pose to up dog. Dog pose to up dog. Focus on the energetic lift through the inner arms. Make the chest as upright as possible, perpendicular to the floor. If you can't be on the tops of the feet, you're on the balls of the feet, Nance, that's fine. Okay. Well done. One more if you can. Focus on the energetic lift through the inner arms. Okay, and now walk your feet toward your hands. All right, now we're coming back to where we've been. Take the legs wider than Dandasana, hip width, not as wide as Upavishta Konasana. So you're here. All right, now you're coming in. Now I'm going to do this today without blocks because I want to make a comparison with Tolasana. So you're coming back to Padmasana or Ardha Padmasana. Now, those of you who are doing Ardha Padmasana, then you'll need your belt and belt underneath the foot and around the upper thigh. I should say, actually, I like it around the ankle. So I'm packaging up my legs like this because I've got to lift the legs up. So this is for people who can't do Padmasana, but you can still do Tolasana. So I'm going to show it in the modification, and then watch from the side. So I don't think you need blocks in this pose. So just watch, and I can explain why. All right, so my hands are going to go beside my hips, and then I'm going to lift my legs off the floor. Okay, so those of you, actually, it's a little bit harder to lift the legs off the floor in Ardha Padmasana than Padmasana, because this foot is already off the floor. So watch. So I'm going up, and the knees can be slightly higher. I'll show in profile. So my hands are by the sides of my hips. I'm using the energetic lift I got in the 3 previous poses. And then I raise the knees a little bit higher. Do you see how they're the level of the elbow? They're not technically in line with the hip, but who cares? If you can't raise your knees higher than your hip, it's fine. All right. And then the Ardha Padmasana people have to change, repackage up their legs. Okay. So try it without blocks, because many of you don't need the blocks. All right. That's good. Now press the hands down, package up the legs. Now put your fist, make a fist, put it on your navel, draw the abdomen back so you're getting small, very small. There's the abdominal muscles engaged, and then you're ready to lift. You're ready. And then lift the knees slightly higher, those who can, than your hips. And then stretch out the legs and change sides. Other leg in Padmasana or here. But remember, if you're coming up into Padmasana, Ardha Padmasana, you have to belt and let it be tight. All right, now place the hands beside the hips, draw your abdomen back and go up. Go up. That's it, Mary Beth. Lift the knees slightly higher. Slightly. It's like this action, slightly higher. Okay, now give a good stretch to the legs. All right, now watch. So we're doing a first stage of Lolasana without the blocks. And I didn't teach you like this on Friday. So we're doing what I'll call the perch. So I'm crossing the legs. I'll show from behind at the shins, right? Like swastikasana, sukhasana. All right. Then I sit back. All right. Now watch. I'll show in profile. All right. So I'm just going to do one aspect of this. Raising the knees, not the feet off the floor. So I place my hands down. You won't need the blocks. In fact, I don't want you to use the blocks because you'll bypass the abdominal action. And keep the feet on the floor. Just simply lift the knees up. Press the hands, energetic lift through the inner arms. Feet stay down, knees lift up. You can see the back is rounded. Okay, just do that much of Lolasana. You can show in profile. This really helps. And then you have something to go back to should Lolasana not come, which is fine. All right, cross at the level of the shins. All right, now lean toward your leg side. Make sure that all part of your hand is down on the floor. Don't let the thumbs lift off the floor. Now draw your abdomen back, the Utkanchanasana action, and then just simply lift the knees up and down. Do that a good Peggy, a few times just like that. Lift the knees up, like I call it perching. Lift the knees up, lift up. So you have to cross the legs. And the feet ideally point straight back like this. Do you see? This is what makes the arm balance of Lolasana much more difficult than Padmasana, because it's not decentralized. Okay, it's a very narrow shape. All right, now we're going to go for the gusto, meaning feet and knees off the floor. So this is where most people will need blocks. And I'm going to show with the blocks on the medium side. Okay, so I'm going to lift my legs off the floor and swing to and fro. So now my knees and my feet are off the floor. Okay, when you're ready, try Lolasana. Raise yes. If you can't raise the feet, go back to the perch. Or, yeah, you can raise the blocks, Nancy, to the medium side. I think when the blocks are that high, Mary Beth, it's interesting, when the blocks are this high, it actually makes it hard to get the abdominal action because you don't get the drawing back of the abdomen. Have the blocks closer to your hips. Good, Lana, just do the perch. If you want to package up the legs, that's fine. Okay, and now change the cross. Remember, you have to change the cross in this particular pose, right? Okay, let's see, Lana, good. Perch is, yeah, that's it. And then swing to and fro. This is a challenging pose for most people. Tolasan's a little bit more accessible because of the decentral legs. That's it, Beth. Okay, and then finally give the legs a good stretch. So the interesting thing apart about these arm balances, if you don't, it's not to say we practice them that regularly, we don't, but if you don't practice them at all, they become further and further away from your reach. So I just wanted to give you, I want you to end with this is the takeaway, okay? One, you can do low Lawson and get a lot of bang for your buck with the feet down and just this, you see? So my shins are crossed, I'm drawing my abdomen back, it's wonderful for my arms, okay? And then for the Padmasana one, as I said earlier, so that's the low Lawson. Now for the Padmasana or the Tolasana one, just to simply do it with the packaged up legs in Ardha Padmasana, as I showed, is a great option, okay? So just know that they're accessible, So let me just show this again, this arrangement of the legs, where they're packaged up, because otherwise this foot will drop, this lower leg is going to drop to the floor if it's not packaged up well. Okay, now take an Adho Mukha Svanasana, down dog for symmetry. Good. All right. This will feel very differently than the first time you did it because of all the arm balances you did. So you're going to feel it in your inner arms with a sense of ease. Okay, and now come down onto your knees, get a blanket, and you're going to put it to support your head. We're going to lie on the left side and do Anantasana. We're going to add a few pieces here. Okay, so the first piece is Parshvattanasana, where you're engaging once again your abdomen. So the hand need not be on the floor, it can be extended beside your hip. Draw your abdomen back, feet are stacked. So the abdomen is engaged. Yeah, have faith that you can not use the hand on the floor. Good. All right, now, the second stage of Anantasana is where the foot actually is in Vrikshasana. Have the right foot on the inner left thigh. Get it on the median line of the inner left thigh and press the foot into the thigh into the foot. So the knee, when you press the foot into the thigh and the thigh into the foot, I want the knee to move back so you're opening this groin. Knee back, press the foot. It's not even like a light touch. You're pressing the foot into the thigh and the thigh into the foot. That will open this groin. Okay, now we're adding this kind of third stage here. You're going to cross, remember, so we've done this Ardha Padmasana, supine, we're going to do it prone, and now sideline. Aim the ball of the foot like you did in Mula Bandhasana, right? So now the foot is perpendicular, so it's a sideline, I should say, more like a Mula Bandhasana or sideline Ardha Padmasana. Go back from Vrikshasana to Mula Bandhasana or Ardha Padmasana. You can use your hand as I'm doing. Vrikshasana, Ekapada Mula Bandhasana. Good. See that when you get to the Ekapada Mula Bandhasana, how it gets more in your outer hip. You can feel it. Okay, now bring it back to Vrikshasana and then draw the knee into the chest. Hold the outer edge of the foot or the big toe. Many of you can do this. And now take your leg up to Anantasana. You need the belt, take it, but many of you don't, because we did all those soup to twos. And we did soup to two, get aiming the foot higher. If you need the strap, then fine. That's good. And then remember, the groin is moving toward the screen, the leg is moving back. And of course, those pit stops, those stages should have helped. Okay, now go on your belly. We're doing more upper body work. So I've been doing cobras, Bhujangasana, 10 of them, and then hold for 10. So this is what we're going to do today. We'll come back to the left side. I haven't forgotten. I just want to do this in between because it's good on the sacrum. All right, so you're going to kind of slither the chest, sides of the waist forward. Have the hands by the armpit chest. Some of you will say it's underneath my shoulders. You can tuck the toes under or be on the tops of the feet. Since we did up dog, you can be on the tops of the feet. And now keeping the arms bent, neck long, lift the chest off the floor. See if you can just keep the frontal hip bones on the floor. So we'll do 10 and then we'll hold for 10. All right, that's it. See if you can. It should come well now, having done the upper body work. Do 10, keep neck long, 10. This is often given, you know, in a class where they're doing push-ups and you can't do a push-up, so you do a cobra. Don't just bend in the lower spine. Keep moving the back of the buttock flesh toward the backs of the knees. Now hold when you're ready at the top, hold, neck long, arms bent. It's good for your upper body and doesn't have the problems that often inaccurate push-ups do. And down you come. All right, now back to Anantasana in stages. Take your blanket for head support. Relying on our right side, we're coming back. So the reason why I did the cobras in between is that it often helps your back after Anantasana. Okay, so here we are. All right, and then Parshvattanasana. Engage your abdomen. The reason why you need to engage your abdomen, as you know in this pose, is that when the leg is up, you want to topple over. So now in Parshvattanasana, with the arm down beside your hip, balance yourself on your side, which in and of itself is an exercise. Okay, now Vrikshasana, placing the sole of the left foot on the median line of the inner right thigh. Firm press, foot into thigh, thigh into the foot, so that the knee wanders back and the groin goes forward. And then with movement, Ekapada Mula Bandhasana or Ardha Padmasana, however you want to call it, so that when we come up and actually do this pose standing, you'll have already been there 4 times, okay? And go back and forth. So that right left foot now is perpendicular to the floor. Good, good, Maribeth, that's it. Okay, now come back to Vrikshasana. See if on this side maybe you don't need the belt, and then hold the outer edge of the foot and take the leg up. So now you can feel what's keeping you on your right side is your abdomen. It's that stability. That's it, Lana, good. Leg back, groin forward to the screen, leg away from the screen. Of course, if you toppled over, you would just be in Supta 2, and no problem in that. Okay, now repeat 10 more Bhujangasanas on your belly. Yeah, keep the frontal hip bones down so your pelvis stays on the floor. What's moving, what's lifting up is the chest. Keep the arms bent. Keep the neck long. Don't do the pose from the neck. I know it's challenging in this Bhujangasana to not do that, not strain the neck. And then at the top of 8 or 10, hold for 10. Hold for 10. So I'm really doing this pose more for upper body strength, just so that you know, also for the sacrum after Anantasana, but it's a way of building up strength in your upper body, especially if you're not able to do a push-up. How many of you can do push-ups here? Like a classic push-up? Alana? Gail, you can do push-ups, that's great. Now it can show us at the end of the class. I find push-ups very hard, wall push-ups and stair push-ups possible, but not a classic push-up. All right, so let's go prone now. Everyone stay prone. You're doing obviously now what we did. And I think what I'm going to do today is unlike what I did on Friday, is stay with the right side. So let me show you what you'll do and then we'll swap the sides. Okay, so I'm going to show you from this angle. So you're going to come back to what you just did sideline. And you're just going to lift the knee up. Lift knee up, okay? If you get a cramp in your hamstrings, I think some people did last Friday, it's that is possible. Keep the buttock flush of the right leg and then we'll take the right leg out to the side. All right, so you're lying prone and you're in a prone vrikshasana. So the sole of the foot you dance is on the inner left thigh, and then see if you can lift just the knee. If you can't lift the knee, put your right hand underneath the knee and lift it. That's good, Lana. Lift it up. Lift it up. Lift it up. Good, good, good. Lift up. Now, I think the next one is harder. Stay on the right side, take the right leg out so it's at a right angle, as mine is, and then lift the knee up. I find this a little bit harder than the vrikshasana. Some people find it easier. All right, look at your right leg, see it's on a right angle, so the foot stays down, but lift bend the leg, Peggy, so that, the right leg is bent now at a right angle. The right leg is at a right angle to it. And the right thigh is at right angle to the chest. And lift the left. Knee, I should say, just the knee. Good, good, good. All right. Now for symmetry, take Adho Mukha Svanasana. Down dog, push the floor away, go from a prone position for your upper body, because you were prone, come into it. All right, right there. Now bring the feet together. All right, lift the right leg up without shifting to the left. Elbows firm. Descend the right. Lift the left leg up from your abdomen, from the abdomen. And then descend it. Come down, go prone, vrikshasana. Same thing, other side. Go, go, go. All right, so that's it, Nance. And then lift the knee. If the knee doesn't lift, just put your fingertips of your left hand underneath the left knee. So you're lying on your belly. That's it. And you're doing vrikshasana prone. Do about 8 or 10. And then we'll do the right angle leg position. Good. So in the right angle one, the foot can stay down. Just lift the knee, 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 knee. Okay. All right, now when you're ready, come up from a prone position back to dog pose. Push the floor away, again, building on upper body strength, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Good. Now walk your feet toward your hands and come up. All right, now we're going to go to that pose that I alluded to earlier. So if you're having any trouble with balance, not a problem. You can have a chair. If you're near a counter, that's fine. So you're going to lift your right leg up a few times, just raising the leg, getting the knee fairly high. And then remember what we did, that figure 4. Okay, we're going to take the leg in that manner and then come into the final posture where the leg is in Ardha Padmasana and I'm standing. Okay, all right, so let's do that. All right, so first stand in Samastiti. And again, if you need the chair beside you, that's fine. Okay, now being even, of course, the weight will shift to the left leg as you lift the right leg up. Just go up and down. like Ekapada, Supine. A few times in that manner, attempting to get the leg higher and higher, almost to the collarbones. Okay. And then you're going to, you can hold your shin is the way I'm doing, and raise the leg out, lower leg up so it's parallel to your chest. So come into the figure 4 position first. We didn't do this on Friday. So remember figure 4, Nancy, good. All right, now either come out of it or aim, you can go into in one easy motion, aim the right foot to the left groin, good gal, and then take the knee down. If the knee projects forward, moving the right foot out a little bit will help. Well done. Okay, good, Beth. All right, now let go of the right leg and change sides. So let's just think of it in 3 stages. So because each stage offers its fruits, you can lift the leg a few times, and then you can do figure 4 standing in this manner, let loosen the leg, and then Ardha Padmasana standing. That's kind of the order. All right, so you can choose how you want to do it. Again, the state, you know, going to Ardha Padmasana from the get-go is a little bit, you need a little bit of prep, although we did a lot of prep. So lifting the leg up, doing the figure 4 Utthita style standing helps, and then aiming the right heel to the left groin. All right, Lana, that's good. Now aim the heel. Yes, and sense that circular pattern as the foot comes up. So the knee is moving toward the floor, not to the screen. If your left knee is moving out to the screen, then decentralize that left foot. Okay, these look really good. All right, now to stretch out the legs, everyone do Ardha Chandrasana, but I want you to do it at the wall so the brain is quiet. All right, unless you absolutely want to do it freestanding. So I'm doing it at the wall, so I'm not focused on my balance. Okay, you can see I'm coming into half moon at the wall. Half moon at the wall. Yeah, Gail, see if you, yeah, that's it. Lift from your inner thigh. Beautiful, Beth. Good, Lana. Yeah, yeah, these look good. Very good. And when you're ready, change sides. So we're really doing this to quiet the brain down from a fairly rigorous sequence. Ardha Chandrasana is restful, can be restful even freestanding. Those of you who were here on Friday when we did the prep for this, turning that inner upper left thigh inside out. Good, Nance. Leg is at least a 90-degree angle. Need not be, Beth, yours might be a little, yeah, just make sure not too high, that inner thigh, that outer hip of the top leg should resist. Good. All right, now come down. We're going to do some Chatuspadasans, and today we're going to do it a little bit differently. We're going to take a blanket instead of a block. And we're going to put the blanket between your inner thighs. Sometimes people don't like the feel of the block. All right, and then we're going to do Chatuspadasana, and I'm going to offer, I want to do Chatuspadasana before we do Purvottanasana, because anyone who has a shoulder issues, the pose that follows this, you could come back to this pose. So we're going to lift the buttocks up. So sense that if I put my index finger right where that ischial tuberosity is, the buttock bone, the hamstring moves to the buttock bone and the buttock bone moves to the hamstring, okay? All right, do this a few times in that manner. So now the legs will not be able to part because you're hugging the blanket. Go up and down and do about 10, and then like Cobra, we'll hold it for 10. And then in your own practice at home, aim to build up to about 30. You know, this is such an important pose. Elbows can be down, Mary Beth, that's fine. So you can put your index finger right on the buttock bone. The hamstring moves to the buttock bone, the buttock bone moves to the hamstring. This is very good to strengthen the hamstrings. Lift the buttocks, squeeze the blanket, yes, between the inner thighs. And now hold it hold, hold, hold. Want the buttocks high. Want the chest high. Okay, and come down. All right, now we're doing Purvottanasana. So in Purvottanasana, again, this is not for anyone who has a shoulder issue. So I'm gonna have start with the blocks, where the blocks are actually about 3 to 5 inches behind my hips. And the fingers are pointing not away from my feet, but towards my feet. And then we're gonna do it with legs bent. So it's very similar to Chatuspadasana, only now the arms are straight. And which you can see it gets some height to my buttocks because I'm using my arms, that same energetic lift. Now, if you don't have neck problems, you can throw the head back. Otherwise, keep the chin in toward the hollow of the throat. Okay, if you have shoulder issues, don't do it, go back to Chatuspadasana. Okay, again, we're gonna do a few, 10, and then hold it. Good, Mary Beth. Lift up and down. Peggy, you're doing it? Okay, good. All right. If shoulder issues, Beth, do Chatuspadasana. Yes. And if you want to, you can change the iteration, Beth, put the feet on blocks. That's it. Good, Lana. Keep going up and down 10 times. Good, Gail. Remember the buttock bone to the hamstring. Good, Nance. Lift the backs of the thighs, lift the glutes, hold for 10, hold for 10, upper arm strength, gluteal strength. Good. So Gail, you're doing the fine. Okay, and down you come. All right, now watch. We're going to go from the bent leg posture to the straight leg posture, which is the final pose, okay? And we'll do it a different way too. So we're gonna come up to bend. The weird thing about straightening the legs from the bend is you'll see once you're up in the bend and you begin to straighten the legs, the pelvis is gonna drop a little bit. So as soon as you extend the leg and then the other, you have to lift the pelvis up again, all right? That's just the nature of it because you're going from bend to straight. Then we'll do straight to straight, which I find easier. Okay, so from bend to straight. So you can see my toes were up, my heels were down. Gail, your toes are down, that's fine. Again, those of you who are, Beth, continue on Chatuspadasana in different iterations. You can even put Beth the feet on the chair. All right, which is really helpful, Beth, to put the feet on the chair. Now, straight to straight. Oh, you know, we should have do it again because you extended the right, you should extend the left. So when you're doing Purvottanasana like this, you really should swap the legs and then lift. So remember, you have, as soon as you feel how when you extend the leg, the pelvis drops. So as soon as you extend the other leg, you have to re-raise the Beth, that's good. All right, now straight to straight. So you're starting in Dandasana. The blocks are here. So I find this much easier. Then you press the hands down, same energetic lift that we've been getting all morning, and then aim to get the toes to a baseboard or to the floor, okay? All right, lift the backs of the thighs up. Good, Lana. Beautiful. Good. Roll the outer thighs in and press the big toes down. You see how the feet want to roll out, one more than the other? That's it there. So roll the feet in, but without getting a cramp, right? Without getting, this is what happens, you want to, so the feet tend to roll out in that pose. So I said, roll the thighs and feet in and then press through the big toe. And then of course, sometimes that causes a cramp. Lana, that's good. Okay, now come into child's pose. Beth, you can join us. Just hard on the shoulders, Beth, that pose, right? Purvottanasana, very hard on the shoulders. There is a way. I remember doing this with Jarvis, like this is 10 years ago. We got the physio ball. We lied on, lying on our back with our hands on the floor. So the ball was supporting our back body. That was a really good way of doing Purvottanasana. You could, usually as the shoulder progresses, Beth, I've seen people do it like this with the chair. The ball works the very best way. I should have gotten the ball out to show you. But so I'm sitting here, Beth, you see this, or anyone for that matter. So I'm sitting kind of on the edge of the chair. I could start with bent. I go up. I could start with straight. and I go up. And you get a lot of, how is that, Beth? It's a little, no. Too much?
I think that felt fine and straight, what I'm not ready for. But
Yeah,
I'm doing much more than I was when I
Yeah.
started with you. I'm really.
this one, but you were wise not to do it. So here, the way from bent is doable on the chair. The very best way is actually if you have a physio ball and just, does anyone have a physio ball in their room nearby? Yeah, now go over it, Beth. It looks a little bit deflated. I don't know if it'll be, so yeah, so that's it. And then just have the arms down. So that's a little bit small, Beth, for you. You'd get much more lift. So imagine her arms could be straight if the ball was bigger. Is that Alana, you do it. Purvo Tanasana on the ball. Come forward of the ball. That's it. Remember the hand position. Yes. So Beth, you see it this way? See, that's beautiful because she gets the shape of the pose. This is bringing back so many memories. That you get the shape of the pose, but you don't have all the arm work. You know, the arms are pretty. I mean, she looks like her arms are working to some degree, they are, but not nearly the extent as unsupported. So this is a wonderful way of stretching what we call the front side of the body. Okay, so now I'm going to
figure out something like that over a chair, actually.
Yeah. I mean, the main thing is that it's high enough so that it accommodates the whole back body, so that the back body is supported and the front chest can be open. Yeah. So and the ball generally, if it's inflated the right amount, will work beautifully. All right, now let's do where were we? You know what, Beth, you know, because you had done this already, this is an iteration of Chatus that people forget, and it really has a lot to offer. So I'm going to have everyone do this now. If you need shoulder support, take the blanket. So this is a way of doing Chatuspadasana and getting, because the legs are higher on a surface now on the chair versus the floor, I'll get much more lift to my chest. So I want you to do it in this manner. You can put the blanket between your thighs. Okay, if you're tired, you can begin your Shavasana, but otherwise we'll do Chatuspadasana because it's an iteration that again is commonly not taught, and yet for some people this is the very best way to do it, to open your thoracic. Good, Gail. Press the feet, lift up, put the blanket in between the thighs. So eventually, those of you who practice shoulder balance know that when the chest is perpendicular, and this eventually is the final shoulder balance, the hands go to the back and there's no support. But it's a rare bird who can do shoulder balance without the support. So this, I think, leads to it beautifully, as does supported shoulder balance. That's it, Lana. Hold, yeah, you gotta scoot toward the chair and hold the front rung. So if you're way too far back, there's no way the chest is gonna get perpendicular. That's it. Now, you're not gonna do this, guys, but just imagine your hands could go to your back body and then your legs could come up. So then you would be indeed in shoulder balance. Good. All right. That's good, Lana. Backs of the thighs lifting well. Okay. Now come into, since the chair is out there, we can have some time, because we worked hard today, we can have a longer Shavasana, as we went through the sequence quickly. You can have the lower legs on the seat of the chair, bolster on the tall side, roots of the thighs back, lengthen your lower spine. And then again, you can do what we did earlier in class with the blanket as a shroud, pulling it down and spreading the skin. So you really feel the eyes, the involution of the eyes inside. Just rest with the arms out to the side. Yes, bolster can go on the roots of the thighs. You're going to feel the length coming to the lower spine. Feel the earth element below. Inclining your mind toward that unshakability feeling in the mind, in the body. Starting with the feeling the floor, the earth below. Sensing again, mental energy descending, the wisdom ascending. Again, feeling spacious, not spacey, whole, not fragmented. If anyone wants to go supine, completely supine shavasana or prone, that's fine. Otherwise, just stay with the lower legs on the seat of the chair. Sometimes prone feels really good because that withdrawal of the senses, as we talk about in yoga pratyahara, the quality of moving the senses inward. So we're cut off from sound and sight and hearing, taste and touch, is more accessible in a prone shavasana. But because we were prone a lot today, and especially if you get nauseous easily, prone is not a great position. But if you really want that quality of involution, you might have better access to it prone. You'll have to see. Again, incline your mind toward manageability, unshakability. And then take time to just thank your body for doing the work. You worked hard today, and you all worked so well today in this variety of postures that included, pretty much everything: hips, hamstrings, groins, laterals, upper body. A lot going on. So when you're ready, you can bring the knees in and then just sit for a moment, as is always good to do. And if you want to feel that your breath is coming from the diaphragm, it's health versus the chest, put your hand on the diaphragm band and spread it. Ideally, the breathing should accommodate about 5 to 6 breaths per minute. So it's not a rapid breath that often happens when we're anxious, when we hyperventilate. It's a very slow, it's called coherent breathing or resistance breathing. And trying to slow your heart rate down to between 5 and 6 breaths per minute. And there's lots of apps you can get that time it to high chime on the in-breath and low chime on the out-breath. So in a moment, I'm going to take you off. Well, you have to take yourselves off mute. I'm going to stop the recording. And then we have a moment to be together.